Hello and welcome to the Great Endgame Theory video. This might be our last video on the end of Attack on Titan since there are only 3 chapters left according to Isayama, and with 3 chapters left there is not much that can happen. However, this latest chapter 135 might have hinted at the possibility that the rumbling is more Ymira's plan than Eren's, since she is the only one actively trying to stop the alliance. Let's explain. In chapter 90, after touching Historia's hand, Eren sees into the future and that he'll bring about a rumbling. We can confirm this since in chapter 130 we see all the memories Eren was given after touching Historia's hand in chapter 90. We see Eren telling his friends that he doesn't want any of them to inherit the Attack Titan power in chapter 108, Piek holding Eren at gunpoint in chapter 116, Falco looking up at the bird in chapter 91. Mikasa asking Eren what has he done, after killing innocent civilians and children in chapter 102, and finally Zeke catching Eren's hand in chapter 120. At first, Eren doesn't tell anyone about what he saw, because it doesn't make any sense. Why would he bring about a rumbling and kill millions? However, this starts to change after Eren visits the outside world and sees firsthand how racist and bigoted it is towards Eldians. Eren starts to believe that a rumbling might be the only way, since Eren only cares about protecting his friends. We can see this when Eren tells his friends that he doesn't want any of them to inherit the Attack Titan power in chapter 108. And here is where we should make a distinction between the two Erens of Attack on Titan. Original Eren, who we've known since chapter 1 and only wants to protect his friends. We can see this in how Eren rushes to protect Armin from bullies and doesn't want his friends to join the scouts, because he's happy to risk his life but not others. We see this again in chapter 90. Compare this to the new Eren, who we'll call Post-Child Eren. Post-Child Eren replaces original Eren after he tells Historia his plan to start a rumbling in chapter 130. At the beginning of chapter 130, original Eren believes that a rumbling is the only way to protect his friends and Paradise Island. Therefore, he begins to work with Zeke through Yelena, while secretly conspiring with Flock to betray Zeke and Yelena, to bring about the rumbling to secure Paradise Island's future, because he's seen it all in his future memories from chapter 90. However, everything might have changed in chapter 130, because this is where original Eren becomes Post-Child Eren. The easiest way to tell the difference between them is that Post-Child Eren has very long hair, while original Eren has short to slightly long hair. Anyway, back to chapter 130. After Annie confesses that she's done fighting, we see a bird watching their ship from afar, just like the same bird that watches Armin and Annie talk in chapter 131. We then have a voiceover of Eren wondering when this all started. Did it start when he received the message 2,000 years from now, from chapter 1, or did it start with the pigs that Ymira let go? Or maybe it started with his dad or touching Ymira's hand. Eren confirms that everything he has seen can't be changed. We see the future memories he got in chapter 90. Then we see original Eren with his slightly longer hair conspiring with Zeke and Yelena, then plotting to betray them with Flock. After this, Eren goes and talks with Historia and reveals his plan. But she tells Eren that this is wrong. And this is where we arrive at the fundamental problem with original Eren's rumbling plan. See, Eren wants his friends to live long, happy lives, but Historia makes it clear they could never be happy after this. We even see firsthand when all of Eren's friends would rather die than live in a post-rumbling world. Eren offers to wipe Historia's memories and could do the same to all his friends, but this again goes against his mantra of freedom, and he would then be no better than King Fritz. So there is a clear contradiction here between what Eren wants and what he does. Eren and Historia scene cuts off when she proposes. What would you think about me having a child? We think this scene takes place roughly 9 months before the rumbling and is when Eren gets Historia pregnant, much earlier than when everyone thinks she got pregnant. And after getting Historia pregnant, he receives new future memories of what happens after the rumbling, and now Eren finally understands why he's doing this. This is why he goes from being motivated by hatred when he tells Flock that they will annihilate the outside world, who he calls animals to justify his use of the rumbling, and yet we see him crying when he talks with Ramsay in chapter 131. And he says how sorry he is. In both cases, there is a lot of emotions. However, compare this to post-child Eren, who is stone cold committed to the rumbling. After talking with Historia, Eren has no emotion to it. All he says is that he needs to keep moving forward. He doesn't show any sign of remorse like he did with Ramsay, or hatred like he showed with Flock. Instead, he is totally and utterly committed to moving forward, because he now knows what comes after the rumbling is a world where his friends are free to live long and happy lives. Now, looking at the most recent chapter 135, Eren is still asleep, and we think either Armin or the explosives wrapped around his neck will wake him up in chapter 136. Or maybe Armin will be transported to where Zeke is if he is still alive, but who knows. So the ending could go 3 ways in our opinion. 1, Eren turns on Ymir, since Armin says in the latest chapter. If Eren keeps moving forward, he'll have to face Ymir's will, and Isayama reveals that Ymir was the one who let out the pigs and wasn't falsely blamed for a crime she didn't commit, meaning that Ymir is not as innocent as we thought in chapter 122. If Eren does betray Ymir, then this would mean that the rumbling was always her desire and not Eren, and Eren's plan comes after. However, even if the rumbling is stopped and Armin, Mikasa, Jean, Coney, Levi, Annie, Gabby, Reiner, Falco and their families live, tens of millions would still be dead, and we really can't see the rest of the world not turning on Paradise Island and the remaining Eldians for the crimes committed by Ymir. However, like we've said in all our previous theory videos, Eren and Armin are going to talk, and this should hopefully happen in the next chapter, and maybe Armin will get to choose how Attack on Titan will end. Similar to how Eren has always trusted Armin's judgment, as we saw all the way back in chapter 11, when the Wall Garrison were planning to kill Eren. Or in chapter 82, when Armin gives Eren the plan and tells him that all they need to do is trick Berthold to win, and if you notice, Armin has a pattern of tricking people. He tricked Berthold into thinking Eren was defeated, tricked Annie into trusting him, and Armin was the only one who was able to wake Eren back up in chapter 14, thus Armin might be trusted with Eldia's fate. This leaves Armin with 3 choices that we can see. Option number 1, Armin lets Ymir complete her rumbling and secure Paradise's future. Option number 2, Eren will let Armin blow up Eren's nape or find some way to stop Ymir, since like Armin said, the rumbling has done enough to secure Paradise Islands for the next 100 years. However, we think after those 100 years have passed, the rest of the world would most likely unite and take their revenge on Paradise Island. We don't think Armin would morally be okay with option 1, nor do we think option number 2 secures Paradise Island's future. That leaves option 3, which we aren't exactly sure what it is, but we think it would have to do with the paths. So we think that if you can't see someone's eyes, similar to the Beast Titan young Eren and Ymir in the paths, you are a slave to Ymir but still alive in the paths, which means that everyone is still alive in the paths. For example, Berthold is still alive, and this is why he cried before transforming, because he knew Ymir would be sending him to kill his best friend. We also saw Erwin congratulating Hanji after dying, for getting the Alliance onto the plane to stop the rumbling. This could lead to everyone being brought back through the paths, or Eren resetting history to bring everyone back. Evidence of Eren resetting the world comes from chapter 134, when the Fort Commander says, "If it's possible for us to ever have a future again, I will never make the same mistakes. I swear it, if we ever see another tomorrow." Then Reiner's mum breaks down and regrets everything that she has done to Reiner, but we think this is unlikely. However, AOT could still end with our Armin endgame theory. We believe this might be possible because of what Armin said in chapter 131. "I still want to believe that there's still a world we don't know about yet out there, past the walls." This might be teasing why we couldn't follow Eren's POV, even after the rumbling has already happened, since it made sense not to follow Eren's POV after chapter 90 because it would have spoiled the rumbling, but Isayama has still chosen not to follow Eren's POV even after the rumbling. Instead, we have continued to follow the Alliance and only seen Eren's POV from before talking with Historia, making us believe that Isayama is hiding more future memories. Also, in chapter 134, we see 5 landmarks from our world: the White Cliffs of Dover, Westminster Bridge, Big Ben, Kamigamo Shrine, Jigawaka Kumano Shrine. Now this could just be shorthand for Isayama trying to show us that the rumbling has reached Japan and England, or it could be that Eren steals Ymir's power and uses it to create a world without Titans, maybe our own. But with only 3 chapters to go, it would be hard for Isayama to do this ending. Honestly, so long as Eren's endgame isn't a rumbling, and it makes sense why he couldn't just tell his friends what he was doing, we'll be happy. Also, there's something going on in the paths, with Armin, Mikasa, and Jean running away from Reiner, Levi, and Pieck towards Eren's shadow, only to find themselves running into Reiner, Levi, and Pieck, and then suddenly it is no longer just Eren, but Eren and Ymir. Eren also repeats the moving forward line twice here. No idea what this could all mean except a time loop. Also, how did Eren see Ramsay die? Because it was Ymir who saw this happen. This might hint that post-child Eren has access to Ymir's future memories, but we're not sure. Since Eren in chapter 130 has future memories of Falco from chapter 91 that could only have been seen through a bird, which might mean this bird from chapter 130 and 131 is Eren secretly watching the Alliance from the past. And the reason we called this theory video the Great Endgame is because whatever Isayama's endgame is, it's so good that we don't think anyone has predicted it. Anyway, thank you for watching.